Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Graham coming to you from the wonderful and underrated city of Dubai, but that is another story for another time. In today's video, I will be discussing how I essentially lost out on roughly 1.3, 1.5, 1.6 million US dollars. Yes, it's been something I've been dealing with for the last year, but I'll break down that story for you guys. For those of you who don't follow the channel, a brief introduction is I started selling on Amazon around my 22nd birthday. I had saved up $20,000 from working and spending very little because I wanted to start something entrepreneurial. Came across Amazon stuff online, decided to pursue that. I thought selling physical products online made sense, so I went for it. And I launched my first product after months and months and months of research and a ton of hard work. Now, I've never actually revealed on this channel what that first product was, and at this point it doesn't really matter because that product is long gone. And so back in 2017, I launched a set of resistance bands in Canada. I very quickly with this product saw success, and within a month or two of launching this first product, I was making 50 to 120 Canadian dollars per day, which is like 40 to 100 American dollars per day. Amazing money for a 21, 22-year-old, and it was the most exciting time of my life. I finally was able to realize that I could make something of myself. It's hard to describe the feelings that I felt, but it was just proof to myself that with enough hard work and determination, and despite what everyone thought would happen, I could actually make something of myself despite not following a traditional career path. So anyways, moving on from there, I realized the secret to success was continuing to launch these products. I didn't want to shoot for the moon for products that were super competitive and making $10,000 a month. I just always told myself, I want this new product to make me $500 a month, and I'll repeat that process over and over. And that's basically what I did. In 2019, I received a $420,000 offer for my business, of which I was considering accepting until the buyer backed out last minute due to some financing reason. It sounded like BS to me, but whatever. We moved on. About 9 months later, I received another offer for my business. This one was about, I can't remember if it was 530 or 550,000 US dollars. About 400 of that would have been up front. The remainder based on performance bonuses, which it would have hit now that I think about that in hindsight. But once again, this was actually at the start of COVID, and the buyer backed out because fears of COVID. Understandable, obviously probably the worst decision of their lives, but that's what they did. And then through COVID, we battled with Chinese manufacturing restrictions and shipping backlogs and crazy shipping costs. But we grew the business a lot. A lot of shopping went online. I made a lot of revenue, a lot of sales, but I was also battling going out of stock and increased shipping costs. So it was about a net equal, maybe a net positive, but I did continue growing the brand. I continued adding products, and as a result, my profit kept increasing. I got to the point where I was having $15,000 to $20,000 US profit months pretty consistently with very minimal work, to be honest. Obviously, during COVID, everyone was stuck at home purchasing stuff, and I was also stuck at home, but I didn't put a whole lot of that time into the business. Honestly, I kind of took my foot off the gas pedal once I started to make 5 figures profit a month. And then, there's no negative reinforcement when you're making 20 grand a month doing nothing. You hire one VA, they handle all the logistics for you. And I just coasted for a couple of years making over $250,000 a year profit from just selling a few products on Amazon. So it was pretty crazy. It was obviously a life-changing experience, and I'm super grateful for it all. But let's get into where this story turns a bit more sour. So through 2022 and even 2021, but it was more felt in 2022, Amazon really started jacking up their fees. It was a storage fee here, inbound transportation fees, per unit fees, referral fees. Everything was just increasing year over year. Before this, it was a 2% increase per year in their fees. 2021 and 2022, it was like 20% per year. And add that on to massive increases in shipping costs. And I saw my once 40% margins go to 30, and then to 25, to 20. However, towards the end of 2022, when my business was pretty much at its peak in terms of profitability, I listed the business for sale on Empire Flippers. I received an offer from a company, maybe for legal reasons, I won't say their name, but they essentially wanted to buy the business. This was at a time when interest rates were very low. All these firms could borrow money essentially for free, and they were pumping these into Amazon businesses. So I really wanted to sell the business, and that's obviously why I put it up for sale. It was honestly perfect timing. The offer I received was for $1.3 million up front, 1.32 or something, with potential for $600,000 more on top of that based on performance. However, some of that was quite unattainable. So we'll say it was likely to be somewhere around $1.6 million when everything was said and done. And I accepted that offer. However, they had a problem with the fact that my brand was only trademarked in America and not Canada. So as these firms do, they put some, contingencies on the offer that, okay, the acquisition would happen once I got that trademark completed in Canada. And here's actually where the story turns bad. So November of 2021, sales were skyrocketing. I didn't have time to inspect an order coming from China, and it was a massive order because one of my new products had just taken off and was making crazy sales. So I rushed through a order that I paid 6 figures for. It was a massive order, and the supplier essentially tanked my business for me. So they just gave horrible quality product, but I rushed it through because I wanted to get it in the door for December. Turns out that shipment got delayed a month and a half anyways, and then when it arrived in January or February or whenever it was, by about March and April, I realized there was a problem in my hands. So the negative reviews just started rolling in. I had a 4.7, 4.8 rating. Over the next 6 months, I was stuck with 6 figures worth of inventory. And my choices were, okay, do I inspect this? Do I try to remove the bad, faulty units? Or do I keep selling? And maybe it was just a portion of the inventory. So I waited. It kept getting worse. I was still making sales because my rating was still 4.6, 4.5, 4.4. But I was really getting hit hard with all these refunds and bad reviews. As a result, this product started to die. It did. The sales were 50 a day, then 40, then 30. I think these days they're like 10. But moral of the story, before we get to it, is inspect your goods, folks. And back to the aggregator that was attempting to acquire my business. After about 4 months, as I kind of expected, they messaged me, or I think they phoned me and said, "Hey Graham, bad news. We've just decided that we're just not going to acquire the business." Out of nowhere, I kind of had a feeling they were going to do this. This acquirer is somewhat known for having a shady reputation, but for whatever reason, I just had the feeling that was going to happen before my trademark got completed. And so there I was now. I just lost essentially a $1.5 million offer. My best products were getting decimated in the reviews category because of a bad batch of inventory. And Amazon's fees were skyrocketing. So you had all these things coming into play. Also the fact of Amazon's warehouses being overstocked, and so then they were forcing you to store goods in your own warehouse, which was thousands of dollars more on top of that. And essentially the business came crashing down in terms of like going from $30K a month, $1,500 profit days, to the point where I'm sitting now is like $400, $500 profit per day on average, which, trust me, like I said, I'm grateful for everything Amazon has given me. I understand that I'm still making a considerable amount of money compared to most of my peers. You know, I'm only 27. I've made a great amount of money from my Amazon selling journey. It's just not as sweet as it could have ended. And now I sit here with a $10,000 per month profit business, which is about 1/3 of what it used to be, and therefore it's worth less than 1/3 of what it used to be. Now I'm basically just looking forward to trying to revive the brand. So we're killing out, slowly selling out of the bad quality goods that we had. And for the record, I did attempt to get my warehouses to inspect them, but the issues with the quality was more of a thing that you noticed over time, not instantly. So the goods would look fine upon inspection, and then within a month they would break, unfortunately. So it was either throw 6 figures worth of inventory in the garbage or try to sell out of what I had. And I just wasn't in a financial position to be able to just throw out all those goods. So as it stands these days, I've recently moved to Dubai. Absolutely love this city. Best city in the world for living as far as I'm concerned, but I'll get into that in future videos. I still have the brand that I have been with for 6 years now. And the way I'm looking at this, I could be bitter, but there was a large part of that responsibility being mine for why the business declined, and I'm looking forward to the challenge of getting it back up to where it once was. Now, unfortunately, Amazon has gone from an amazing opportunity to what I would consider a very good opportunity. It's not as profitable as it once was, but you still have vast opportunity. I still really believe in Amazon. I have 6 years of experience selling. I like to think that I know more than almost every seller out there, or I'm definitely in the top 5 or 1% in terms of knowledge and skill set. And I'm looking forward to proving that over the next year as I attempt to revive my Amazon brand. I'll be honest, in somewhat of a weird way, this has been a blessing in disguise because it's been a great kick in the pants to reignite my motivation for business, and it gave me a reality check that life and money and business doesn't always just come super easy. So that's it for story time. I hope you guys enjoyed that little glimpse into the last couple years of what's been happening with my business. It was unfortunate, but all we can do is learn from it and move on. And so I'm very excited for the challenge that lies ahead. As for this channel, I finally am settled here in Dubai. I have the opportunity now to have some good filming equipment, and I'm looking forward to producing content again on social media. We're also in the process of setting up an Amazon agency, me and one of my best friends. And so it's been an amazing journey getting set up. And I'm really looking forward to providing massive value for free to you guys. And I just miss hopping on the mic and chatting one-on-one with you guys. So that's been long enough. I thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. That's all for now.